The White House has announced $300 million in military aid for Ukraine. The move sidesteps the US Congress, where Republicans have been stalling a much bigger aid package. The assistance will be the first in months from the US and was announced as President Biden hosted Polish leaders in Washington. Polish President Andrzej Duda and Prime Minister Donald Tusk hope to secure even more funding for Ukraine's war effort. Their visit is to mark the 25th anniversary of Poland joining NATO, and they're pushing for a stronger NATO presence in the bloc's east. Let's get more from our correspondent Benjamin Alvarez-Gruber in Washington. Welcome, Ben. Tell us more of what's come out of this meeting between President Biden and Polish leaders.
It's quite remarkable that both Poland's president and Poland's prime minister are here in Washington meeting Biden with a very clear message. NATO needs to reinforce its forces. There needs to be more financial support also to support NATO's eastern flank. And that's something that we heard from Tusk before meeting the US president, saying that countries should put more money, more part of the funds that they have to NATO, and that's something that US President Biden also stressed and also praised, saying that he noted that Poland is spending nearly 4% of gross domestic product on defense, double the NATO commitment, so that's something that both Polish leaders wanted to stress here, and also to get assurances from Biden's administration that they will keep supporting Ukraine.
Now, this comes amid growing concerns amongst US allies that Congress blocking aid for Ukraine in a US presidential year.
That's right, and that's something that we've seen in debates in both the Senate and the House of Representatives between Democrats, between Republicans, but that's also why today, when this was announced, this new package of $300 million, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said this will give the Ukrainians ammunition for a few weeks, but we need to pass this bipartisan national security bill that is stalled in Congress because Republicans say that the U.S. border needs to be secured first before sending additional aid to Ukraine. But what's important here, too, is that many European allies are wondering what will happen with the support to Ukraine when possibly Donald Trump makes it into the White House in November. And recently, he had a meeting with the Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban. They met at Mar-a-Lago, and after that, Orban also made some comments that raised some eyebrows and also concerns that would mean of U.S. support to Ukraine. Let's listen in what the Prime Minister of Hungary said after meeting Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago in Florida.
Donald Trump has a very clear vision, which is hard to disagree with. He won't give a penny to the Ukrainian-Russian war. This is why the war will end, because it's obvious that Ukraine cannot stand on its own 2 feet. If the Americans don't give money and weapons, and the Europeans don't give them, then the war is over.
Benjamin Alvarez-Gruber, how much pressure is President Biden under to reassure countries like Poland that there will be adequate US support as we approach the US presidential election?
He is under a lot of pressure, and US officials have been trying to tell European officials for many months now that the US will support, that they will help, as this package is still stalled. And these discussions continue because with the security packages, not only including Ukraine, but also Israel, Taiwan, the Indo-Pacific, we see how the domestic policies, how national policies are actually shaping the discussions with not just Kiev, but many European allies saying to the US, we need your support, we need you to get more weapons as quickly as possible to Ukraine, because this emergency funding that was also announced today is definitely not enough to help Ukraine as long as it takes. And that's something that US President Biden has pressed and has pledged in several opportunities.
Thanks for that, Ben. Benjamin Alvarez-Gruber in Washington, D.C.